Hi, everyone. Welcome back to the English Talking Podcast. I'm Lily, and I'm here with David. How are you feeling today?
Hey everyone, I'm David. We're really happy to have you with us today. Lily, I have to ask, how was your weekend?
It was nice and relaxing. I stayed at home, cooked some food, watched a movie, and took a long walk on Sunday. How about you?
Mine was a mix of busy and relaxing. I cleaned my apartment, met a friend for coffee, and spent Sunday just resting and catching up on sleep.
That sounds like a very real weekend. And that's exactly what today's episode is about, talking about your weekend in English.
Yes. Let me ask you something. Do you ever want to talk about your weekend in English, but you're not sure how to explain what you did?
Maybe you know the words, but you don't know how to put them together. Or maybe you feel shy and don't know how to start.
You're not alone. Talking about the weekend is one of the most common conversation topics in English.
People ask about weekends at work, at school, with friends, and even online. It's a simple topic, but very important.
So today, we're going to help you feel confident talking about your weekend in English.
In this episode, you'll learn common weekend vocabulary and simple verbs like relax, visit, watch, and meet.
You'll also learn how to talk about past weekend activities, how to ask others about their weekend, and how to describe busy or relaxing weekends.
We'll practice natural conversation phrases that English speakers use all the time.
And don't worry, we'll keep everything simple, clear, and easy to follow.
This is useful for Monday conversations at work or school, casual chats with friends, online comments, and even English classes or interviews.
Anytime someone asks, "How was your weekend?" you'll know exactly what to say.
All right, let's get started and learn how to talk about your weekend in English. All right, David, before we dive into activities and feelings, let's start with something simple. How do we start a conversation about the weekend?
Yes, that's a great place to start. In English, one of the most common ways is simply asking, "How was your weekend?"
Exactly. It's friendly, easy, and works in almost any situation, at work, school, or with friends.
And if you want to make it a bit more detailed, you can ask, "What did you do over the weekend?" That invites the other person to share more.
Or even, did you have a busy or relaxing weekend? That's perfect because it gives two easy options to respond.
And sometimes people just keep it casual with, "Do anything fun?" Simple, short, and friendly.
Let's imagine a short mini dialogue. David, you start.
Okay. "Hey Lily, how was your weekend?"
It was great. On Saturday morning, I went shopping, and in the afternoon, I relaxed and watched a movie. Sunday was all about reading and a long walk.
Nice. Mine was a mix of busy and relaxing. I cleaned my apartment, met a friend for coffee, and spent Sunday just resting. I feel ready for the week now.
Perfect. Notice how we didn't rush through the sentences. Even short explanations make the conversation interesting.
Yes, and even if your weekend was simple, like just staying home, you can say something like, "I didn't do much, just relaxed at home," and it sounds natural.
Exactly. You can also sprinkle in a little detail to make it more engaging, like a specific activity or a feeling, like I felt really refreshed after my walk.
And don't forget, time expressions help you listener understand when things happened. Words like on Saturday, on Sunday, or last weekend.
Right. So starting a conversation is all about being friendly, inviting the other person to share, and adding a tiny bit of detail.
In the next section, we'll expand your vocabulary so you can answer these questions naturally and confidently.
All right, David, now that we know how to start a conversation, let's talk about the words and phrases you can use when discussing your weekend activities.
Yes, this is super useful because it helps you answer questions like, "What did you do?" in a clear and natural way.
Let's start with relaxing activities. One of the simplest is relax. For example, you can say, "I relaxed on Sunday afternoon."
And a very common phrase is sleep in. That means waking up later than usual. You could say, I slept in on Saturday and it felt amazing.
Watching TV or movies is another favorite weekend activity. You can say, I watched a movie with my family, or I watched my favorite show.
Reading is also popular. For instance, I spent a few hours reading a book. Simple, but it gives a clear picture.
Now let's talk about social activities. A common one is meet friends. You can say, I met friends for coffee on Sunday.
Or just go out, which covers leaving home to have fun. Like, we went out for dinner on Saturday.
Eating out is common too. English speakers say eat out. For example, we ate out at a new restaurant.
Travel and exercise are other weekend favorites. You can say, I traveled to a nearby city, or I went for a long walk in the park.
Housework is important for some people. Words like clean, do laundry, or organize are useful. For example, I cleaned my apartment on Saturday.
Students often study too. You can say, I studied for a test, or I worked on a project.
And time expressions are key. Use phrases like on Saturday, on Sunday, over the weekend, or last weekend.
For example, on Saturday, I relaxed at home, and on Sunday, I met a friend. It gives a clear timeline.
Even simple combinations of activities and time expressions make your weekend story sound natural.
Exactly. Remember, you don't need long sentences. 1 or 2 activities plus a little detail, and you're already sounding fluent.
Next, we'll see how to describe your past weekend activities step by step, using these words naturally in conversation. All right, David, now it's time to describe what actually happened over the weekend. This is where the past simple tense comes in handy.
Exactly. Past simple is used for things that already happened, like I went, I watched, I stayed, and so on.
Let's start with some simple examples. You can say, I went to the park on Saturday, or I stayed at home and relaxed.
Or I watched a movie, I read a book, or even just I didn't do much. That last one is great if you had a quiet weekend.
Let's try a mini dialogue. David, you start.
Okay. Hey, Lily, what did you do over the weekend?
Well, on Saturday morning, I slept in and then cleaned my apartment a little. In the afternoon, I watched a movie and cooked lunch. Sunday was more relaxing. I read a book and went for a long walk.
That sounds lovely. Mine was a mix of busy and relaxing. Saturday was busy. I had to run errands and clean the apartment, but Sunday was nice. I just rested and caught up on sleep.
Perfect. See how easy it is to combine busy and relaxing? You can also add feelings, like Saturday was tiring, but Sunday was refreshing.
Exactly. You can also use phrases like I needed time to relax or I had a lot to do to make your explanation sound natural.
And it's okay to mix them, like Saturday was very busy, but Sunday helped me recharge.
Even if your weekend is simple, you can say, I didn't do much, just relaxed at home, which sounds completely normal.
Using these phrases makes your English sound natural in conversations with friends, coworkers, or classmates.
The key is to describe activities and how they made you feel. Words like busy, relaxing, peaceful, tiring, or fun are very useful.
In the next section, we'll focus more on expressing your feelings about your weekend, which really helps your conversation sound human and friendly.
Now, David, let's talk about one of my favorite parts, expressing how we felt over the weekend.
Yes, adding feelings makes your conversation sound real and engaging. It's not just what you did, but how you felt.
Some common words are fun, tiring, refreshing, enjoyable, and stressful. For example, my weekend was really fun, or it was a little tiring but enjoyable.
You can also say, I feel rested now, which shows the listener the weekend helped you recharge.
And if your weekend was short or busy, you can say, it went by so fast, or I wish I had more time.
Let's try a mini dialogue. Hey, Lily, how did your weekend feel?
It was relaxing, actually. Saturday was calm, I read a book and watched a movie. I felt peaceful and rested. Sunday was refreshing too. I went for a long walk in the park.
That sounds lovely. Mine was fun, but a bit tiring. Saturday was busy with errands and cleaning, but Sunday helped me relax. I felt happy and ready for the week.
See how you can combine activities and feelings? I felt tired but happy is very natural.
Yes, you can also describe small things like, I enjoyed my coffee while reading, or I felt stressed at first, but Sunday was relaxing.
These short sentences sound very natural and make your English feel fluent.
And don't forget, feelings help your listener connect with you. It makes the conversation more personal.
Exactly. Words like fun, tiring, relaxing, enjoyable, and stressful are enough to describe most weekends.
In the next section, we'll move on to talking about your plans for next weekend, which is a great way to continue the conversation. All right, David, now that we've talked about the past weekend, let's move on to the future, what we're planning for next weekend.
Yes, talking about future plans is really common in conversations. We usually use going to or plan to.
For example, you can say, I'm going to visit my parents, or I plan to relax at home. Simple and natural.
And if you want, you can say, next weekend I want to express something you hope or wish to do.
Let's do a mini dialogue. David, what are your plans for next weekend?
I'm going to meet some friends for lunch on Saturday, and in the afternoon, I might watch a movie at home. Sunday is probably going to be quiet. Maybe a walk in the park and reading.
That sounds lovely. I'm planning to sleep in, read a book, and take a long walk on Sunday. I need a relaxing weekend.
Perfect. See how you can mix small activities with feelings? I want to relax, or I plan to have fun sounds very natural.
You can also say if you're not sure yet, I'm not sure yet, maybe I'll visit a friend, or I don't have any plans yet.
Yes, these phrases are useful when talking casually with friends or coworkers.
Or you can express hopes. I hope to sleep in, or I want to take a short trip.
And remember, it's always fine to keep it simple. One or two activities are enough to sound natural.
Exactly. The key is to combine time words like on Saturday or on Sunday with activities and feelings.
Next, we'll use everything we've learned in a full practice dialogue so you can see how past activities, feelings, and future plans come together in a conversation.
Hi, David. How was your weekend?
Hey, Lily. It was busy but really fun. Saturday, I had to clean my apartment, run some errands, and meet a friend for coffee. But Sunday was nice and relaxing. I just watched a movie and went for a long walk. How about you?
Mine was very relaxing. I slept in on Saturday, read a book, and watched a movie. Sunday, I went for a long walk and cooked a new recipe. It felt really peaceful.
That sounds wonderful. Even just a few simple activities can make the weekend enjoyable.
Exactly. And it's nice to mix in a little detail about how you felt, like I felt rested or I was happy.
Yes, for example, my Saturday was tiring, but by Sunday evening I felt refreshed and ready for the week.
What are your plans for next weekend?
I'm going to visit my parents on Saturday and maybe go out for dinner. Sunday will be quieter, probably a walk and some reading.
That sounds lovely. I'm planning to sleep in, read, and go for a long walk too. I need a relaxing weekend to recharge.
See, even short, simple sentences like this make your conversation sound natural and friendly.
Yes, and you can always ask a question to keep it going, like, did you do anything fun? Or was your weekend busy or relaxing?
Exactly. Asking questions makes the conversation flow, just like in real life.
So remember, talk about past activities, how they made you feel, and your future plans. It's simple, but it works perfectly.
That's right. Little details, feelings, and future intentions make your English sound fluent and natural.
Now, let's move on to the recap and pronunciation practice to make sure you remember all the key words and phrases. All right, everyone, let's do a quick recap of everything we learned about weekends.
Yes, today we practiced starting conversations, key weekend activities, talking about past weekends, expressing feelings, and discussing future plans.
Let's review some key verbs: relax, sleep in, watch, read, meet, go out, eat out, travel, exercise, clean, and study. Try to say them aloud with me.
Great idea. First word, relax.
Relax.
Sleep in.
Sleep in.
Watch a movie.
Watch a movie.
Meet friends.
Meet friends.
Go out.
Go out.
Eat out.
Eat out.
Travel.
Travel.
Exercise.
Exercise.
Clean.
Clean.
Study.
Study.
Excellent. Repeating these verbs and phrases will help you speak naturally.
Now let's practice some sentences. Repeat after me. I relaxed on Sunday afternoon.
I relaxed on Sunday afternoon.
I met friends on Saturday.
I met friends on Saturday.
Next weekend, I'm going to visit my parents.
Next weekend, I'm going to visit my parents.
Perfect. Combining activities, time words, and feelings will make your English sound fluent and natural.
Remember, practice a little each week and you'll feel more confident talking about your weekends.
That's it for the recap. Now let's move on to our outro and the question of the day. Hey David, now that we've finished recording, what are you planning for next weekend?
I think I'm going to visit my parents on Saturday, maybe go out for dinner, and on Sunday I'll probably just relax at home and read a bit. What about you?
I'm planning to sleep in, read a book, and go for a long walk, too. I really need a relaxing weekend to recharge.
That sounds perfect. Thanks so much for joining us today and learning how to talk about your weekend in English.
Yes, we really appreciate you practicing with us. Spending just a few minutes on this podcast helps a lot.
Here's a little challenge for you. Today, describe your last weekend in English. Even 2 or 3 simple sentences are enough to practice speaking and writing.
You can start small. One activity, how it made you feel, and maybe a plan for next weekend.
Now it's time for our question of the day.
We'd love to hear from you. Answer in the comments or say it out loud.
Question of the day. What did you do last weekend? Was it busy or relaxing?
Try to answer in one simple sentence. Remember, making mistakes is okay. Practicing is what really matters.
Little steps every day make a big difference in speaking English naturally.
I'm Lily.
And I'm David.
See you next time on the English Talking Podcast.